I untangled them today.
I know.
So they weren't.
Mom mentioned that.
Yeah. He's recording. Yeah, everything's good to go. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the Freddie and Alyssa show. If you're new, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're not new, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot of subscribing going on. Like, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. Mm-hmm. You know, everything's, us being home now is becoming real. Yeah. It was kind of like you were easing into it, and now it's just like
full on staying home.
Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah, most people are listening.
Yeah.
Some people aren't. I know there was a few pastors that aren't listening, and that's a topic in itself. And then there's a couple people still throwing parties and stuff and not listening, and
Gets me so mad.
Well, it's just going to prolong it for everybody.
Yeah. Well, even too, remember how they were showing all those spring breakers in Florida like a couple weeks ago, and they actually did a map of where they all went from, I guess, their cell phone carriers. And I mean, it just showed hotspot after hotspot after hotspot. So who knows what, it really is like. But if we don't do our part, we can never move past this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misinformation. I think the biggest thing that across the board for the 10% who aren't listening to the orders is they're forgetting that you can carry it for 14 days with no symptoms. Mm-hmm. So they're going around, and there's people that I know in my life, family, friends, that you're hearing stories, and I'm like, I don't want to be the guy to like who are you to tell me what to do? But you're not making right decisions.
I know.
A true quarantine is when you're in your house for 14 days, you have everything delivered, you wipe it off, and you don't have contact with anybody.
Yep.
Like even the other day, we had to sign for something. You made the guy set it outside. You put a glove on. You made him step away.
Yeah.
You signed for the package, and then you went and threw the glove away and washed your hands and then washed down the package.
I don't mess around. I take this very seriously.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
You didn't like that. You're like, what do I do? And I called the guy back, and I was just like, hey, I'm practicing social distancing. Can you please leave it at the doorstep, and I'll sign it? And he was fine with it.
But we've had everything delivered, and there's a few people who had gloves and masks.
I know.
He didn't.
No.
So you're just walking from door to door all around town.
Yeah.
And you're having people sign this, and you're touching your phone, getting in your car.
Yeah, I don't know what he's touched. I don't know what germs are on the actual signing device.
I know.
But I really do think that, like, always being crazy about germs, which I always have been, it's really been 10x'd by all of this, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where can germs be on this? Where can it be on this? And then my brain goes crazy. But, you can only do so much and do your part and really just be very intentional about where you're at, what you're doing. And even like for me, I haven't been to the grocery store in a long time because you do that. But when I did, I would even keep my phone in my purse the whole time because I was so stressed out about, what if I touch something, or like and then I of course wash my phone when I get home. But I don't know, just really thinking above and beyond of how we can be safe and careful, not only for yourself, but for everyone else around you.
Well, and for this to actually end. So that everyone can get back to normal sooner.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's going to prolong. And I think a lot of people are going to benefit from the stimulus. A lot of people are going to benefit from the unemployment and the small business loans. There's a lot that they're doing.
Yeah.
But there's also a large group of people that are going to be really screwed over. And you have to think about, you know what I mean? I think it just sheds light on the lack of perspective, and it really shines light on how people are selfish.
Yeah.
Uneducated or ignorant about it.
Yeah.
Like you can't just think about yourself, because if we all just thought about ourselves, we would have no working community or no working world.
Correct.
So.
And I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm more worried about, hey, what if I'm a carrier and I'm asymptomatic, but I'm all out and about around town doing things, touching things, and then you just don't know.
Yep.
You got to be careful for everyone. Even that UPS guy, what if I did have it?
I just don't think they don't care.
I mean,
But it could be just their path in life that they still have that invincibility factor, even if they're 37.
Sure.
Maybe they just had a cush life, couple little rough patches, but never anything that shows like you're not invincible. And so I think they had a report that 90% of people are taking it serious, which is a huge feat in itself. How do you control 330 million people?
I mean, yeah.
So
crazy.
I think that, it's all going well, and we're just doing our part by staying home. I mean, I do go to the grocery store. We tried to have something shipped today, but everything's just like packed.
Yeah.
Like we're in Los Angeles.
I know.
There's 10 million people ordering.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to go. We find this little mini mart that we can kind of pop in and out. And I put on a mask. I can put on a mask and gloves and just like go quickly. But it's tough because last time I went, there was just somebody just on their phone talking so loud, just walking around, no mask, no glove, on the phone, talking. Put your phone away. Get in and out. This isn't a time to browse. No. Get your pasta, get your beer, get your ice cream, get your water, two per family, go to the counter, stand back, and get out of there.
Well, I'm curious, too, for people listening. Do you feel when you go out and you get back home, are you instantly thinking, okay, now it's another 14 days to see if I have symptoms? Because every time we go out, like, I get nervous. And I always think
it's reset an extra 14 days, yeah. But if you're careful, though, that's the whole point.
I know.
As long as you don't touch anything and you have your gloves and your mask and you disinfect everything, you're fine.
Yeah.
So there's still ways to do it. But on a different note, just because we don't want to touch on it too much, it's all everywhere.
Let's talk about something happy.
Well, interesting enough is that we're releasing this on April Fool's.
Oh,
and we had a huge discussion last night in bed where we're like, should we fool the audience and do a we're pregnant or a fake fight or something?
Yeah.
And if there's ever a time to clickbait someone, it's on April Fool's.
That's true.
But I thought of my own self, I hate pranks.
You hate them.
And I also think it would create such a, I just don't think many people would see the headline. Because how many people were like, wait a minute. Like we got messages about our wedding date and moving to Florida because if you didn't watch the podcast, people were like, wait a minute, like, is this happening now?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't going to watch the whole thing. So if we said we're pregnant, I feel like it would have caused like
just too much,
and then we'd have had to go back and tell everyone. Like it would have just been a mess.
Yeah.
So I think we avoided a really bad. It would have been funny, but not really.
No. So to clear things up, we are not pregnant.
No, and it's not going to be in the title, or maybe it will be. Still, I don't know.
We'll see.
No, I don't know. Yeah, we just wanted to start the month off and I still think that we're all ready for some exciting, entertaining, uplifting news. I think we're all 90%, minus the people who aren't taking this serious, but 90% of us have understood. We're tuning in to be educated, and then we're all trying to just make the best of the situation.
Yeah.
And
I follow an account on Instagram called The Good News Movement, and it's all positive news about what's going on in the world, and it really just makes your heart. It touches your heart. It makes you happy, and it's just uplifting stuff, which I think everyone's kind of ready for.
Yeah.
The first few weeks, we were all like, okay, what's going on? Let's get all the facts. Let's get the details. And then every day you're just like, I don't want to continue to read about this. I need happiness or something that's going to be like an escapism.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's like this for you, but there are certain days where I'm completely fine. I'm not even really thinking about this. Like, I'll continue living my life. And then other days, I just cannot believe what is going on outside. Mm-hmm. Like, it just, like, kind of waves. Sometimes I'm, like, really cool, and I'm like, oh, our country is coming together. We'll get through this, which we will. But then other days, I'm just like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it feels like it's just, like, some show. Like, it looks like it's, like, a 24-hour... like live stream show that someone wrote, like a reality show, and you watch it on TV. Let me just tune in to see what's happening, but this can't be real life. Yeah. And it is.
Did you ever watch the movie? I think it's called Ed TV, and they shot like a reality show for 24 hours. It's one of my favorite movies growing up.
I haven't. It's kind of like the Jim Carrey movie too.
Oh, man, I love that movie too. What is that? The Truman Show.
Truman Show.
That was one of my ultimate faves.
Well, I would actually, because it seems like everyone's going live, and I think that could be a really interesting thing that we could maybe do in the future. It'd be really fun to do. I don't know how you would do it because I think Instagram makes you reset every hour, but to do a 24-hour live where people could just tune in, like you say, next April 1st, 2021 for 24 hours straight, we're just going to stream our entire.
So even when we sleep?
Yeah. Because people would, because it'd be real. It'd be real.
Oh, man.
But you'd have to you can't do it in quarantine because people are just going to watch you sit around.
Oh,
but if you
true.
actually had like an interesting day planned out and you stream the entire thing,
yeah,
would be really fun.
Huh.
Because I think that could be some form of entertainment. I'm curious how the entertainment business is going to shift because I've heard two different versions, and I'm sure it'll be somewhere in the middle. That's how things are.
Of course.
What do you think is going to move forward with entertainment as a whole?
Right.
Because we're all craving it.
Well, it's crazy because right now they're obviously trying to push certain projects quicker out there, like even that Michael Jordan
The Last Dance documentary.
Yes, that's coming out when? This
April
week?
19th.
April 19th. And I think that they're quickly trying to edit all of this content so that they'll have stuff to release. However, I think podcasting, I think like the influencing world, YouTube, all of that, content creators are going to be the next, I guess, big thing that they can utilize because they can't go out there and shoot stuff. What happens when they run out of content? You need content creators who are already at home with equipment, with the lights. Like even you're watching, who's the Jimmy, not Fallon, who's the other?
Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel. He was basically saying, yeah, like I finally got the equipment. I'm not doing it from my iPad anymore because they're shooting at his house because we're all quarantined.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious what's going to happen when they run out of all of this content that's already edited, and then they're just kind of like, well, what now? We can't go shoot a show. They're probably not going to shoot for a year, 2 years. Like truly, I mean.
Well, I mean that's the whole thing. As soon as it's the vaccine, it's the ability for it not to be life threatening.
Yes.
Like back when somebody has the flu, it just sucks to get it, but most people are okay. But then again, it's also not really. The flu takes out a lot of people, but people won't. You'll just stay home from work. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how far in advance they actually like how much in the bank does Netflix have? Like how much is filmed, edited, and already has a release date?
I'm sure they have a lot of stuff.
3 to 6 months.
That's true.
Is that generous?
It's very generous. But I suppose no one was thinking that this could happen,
Yeah, so they just had like a 3 to 6 month.
Yo, Netflix, if you guys need some podcast, Freddie and Alyssa show.
Well, that's what we heard from a friend is that, if Netflix can't shoot, mm-hmm. they're going to invest money into influencers and content creators because they can, like if Netflix were to say, hey, we believe in the Freddie and Alyssa show, we're going to blow this up and show it to 150 million people and see how you do. Let's do one episode.
Right.
And they would just pay us to make sure that it's all, they could edit it, they could make it better, but it wouldn't cost them really much.
No.
But if they enjoyed it, or they could help book like celebrities or whatever it may be, or they could have certain groups of people who do there's a lot of those like cooking shows, people influencers who cook at home or fashion, like there's a lot of vlogging type stuff that if Netflix, instead of spending $200 million on all these A-listers, they could say, well, Freddie and Alyssa, you paid us like $2,000 an episode, they would save all this money and we would be like thrilled. So so that's the whole that's going to be very interesting to see what happens with how much content they have, how many shows are going to be canceled, and realistically too, like even small businesses, which you got to think how many people who have small businesses in America are just over it. I think some people were probably super passionate. They love what they do. You can see it on Shark Tank. You can see it people around who really take care of it. But I bet you there's millions of people who took it over from their family. Or just are so done with it. There's like, I just don't know how I'd ever like let the employees go. I don't know how I'd ever shut this down. I don't know how I'd ever let my customers down. I don't know how I'd let my parents down who gave this to me and came from another country and built this and, but I just want to paint.
Yeah.
I want to do YouTube show. And I think this might be a lot for, like, I think a lot of people are going to go,
the push.
I'm done. Mm-hmm. And you don't feel as guilty.
Yeah. Because everyone's going through it.
You can make big changes in your life right now because the whole world understands. It's not just you. Freddie and Alyssa didn't mess up where we can't leave for 2 months. It's not our fault. no matter what we do or what anyone else decides to do,
Yeah.
we can do whatever we want. Everyone's going to get a reset.
Well, like, even for me, I used to wake up like really early, and if I sleep in during this quarantine, I'm just like, well,
I have zero guilt.
nothing's going on. No one else is out there.
I would feel like crap.
Oh,
When you got things to do and you wake up at 10:30,
oh my
you feel like
gosh.
the biggest loser.
Yeah.
Now,
Then
I
I'm
don't
like,
care.
what's time?
Nothing to do.
Is it cocktail hour yet?
Yeah. That's what the Fat Jewish was saying. If you want a funny account to follow, the Fat Jewish on
I love him.
Instagram. He has a huge that's a long story, but yeah, he's great. But he made a joke because he was promoting his Babe Rosé, and he was giving away $1 million of it. Which, side note, what I'm watching now, this is why I love following people to learn their business strategies. Dan Balzerian did this with his Alistair like beard and hair products. And Babe just did it. We're giving away $1 million of free Babe. Just go register, and the first $1 million is all free. They're going to be inundated on that website by millions and millions of people. They're going to give away $1 million, but they're collecting 5 million people's data to then retarget Facebook and Instagram ads to those people who visited the website.
Yep.
Because how else would you get people to go to a website? It's like genius. But he was saying too, he's like, when's it too early to eat lo mein? Which is also true. Lo mein's one of those meals that you could never eat in the morning, but now when you sleep in till noon, like, can you eat it for breakfast?
I do feel, though, when I sleep in, I'm kind of more open to having a lunch for my first meal. Because I'm like, oh, it's afternoon almost.
I have zero cravings for food. It's helping me actually not
Same.
overeat because I'm just like...
What's the point?
Well, yeah, it's almost like I don't know. I'm just not as craving. Like when you have a busy day and you're like, I
what am I gonna
deserve
have later?
McDonald's. Where now I'm like, let me just get this sandwich down. I was really interested in food for 2 weeks, abused it, and now I'm just kind of over it. We didn't eat much yesterday. We had pasta.
I feel like, though, the first week or so of quarantine, I really lost my appetite. I did not eat much. I was just like so stressed out. Which is just interesting how everyone copes with things differently. But my appetite went away. But it's like, now I'm just kind of like, oh, cool, let's eat. Like, I am a little hungry right now. And it's 3:30. Wow.
I give props to the people who are like the fitness junkies that are still crushing because, to diet, to be eating healthy, for me, having a busy schedule helps.
Of course.
Like...
Well, right now, too, I'm just, like, grateful that we have food in the house. And I'm just like, well, what can I eat just to get this hunger away? There's no way that they can go and get all the healthy stuff, is there?
I mean, they could go often and freeze it and do it well. I mean, people are doing it. It just shows great discipline. Like, hats off to all of you that I know you have a better discipline than me, that I'm just trying to just maintain. If I can maintain, then I've done a good thing. Yeah. And then we can see what's going to go on for summer.
You guys will be the first to see what we do. Because they're watching us every week.
Yeah. So, what are you thinking for summer?
For summertime, depends what's going on. If things are a little bit back to normal, I think it'd be so amazing to go spend some time with family. Yeah. I know we were talking about that. But it really just depends what's going on out in the world if we're able to. Like, what do you think about that? What do you want to do?
I mean, I would just love. It's just like because we were our friend Andrea had her birthday party on Zoom, and I think she broke it into small groups, which was actually smart because at first we were having trouble with everyone talking over each other, which you realize the like social cues in real life situations when you're at a big table. It's interesting how people can have side convos. And you can also, like, people take charge of the conversation and you can see body language. Yeah. On the Zoom, if people aren't cognizant of who's talking, it becomes a mess. Yes. But we managed it well. But one of our friends, Summer, actually went home to Mississippi. What a smart move. 2 weeks ago, before it got, really crazy, she went home and she just gets to hang out with her family right now. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool to be with family during this. Course. You could really enjoy.
Just being with them.
You could really enjoy. But now, Even we can't make the cross country trip right now because you can't stay in hotels. It's too dangerous to sleep in the car.
I think borders are really strict. Andrea was telling me
of driving in. Yeah. And then New Jersey's too close to New York. Jersey's spiking.
Yeah,
it's not safe for us to go there.
Yeah.
So
we just got to stay put for now. See what happens in the next few months. But I really think that we're all going to be staying in our houses for a while. I don't think it's going to be done April 30th. I think it'll be... I mean, I guess we just got to see what happens.
We don't know. We're all in it, just hanging out, And as much as I'm just like, we're not going to talk about it, but it's just like, it's just what's going on.
What's happening.
Like we have, we do have a question I want to answer in a little bit. We got it from, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Pelagie, asked a question.
Do you want to ask it?
We can do it now. We can go back if we... she asked... she said, can you or how do you... Essentially the question is, how do you make... Can you make money on YouTube? Or how do you make money on YouTube?
I'll let you take this one, baby. Your favorite topic.
Well, funny enough, is my initial thought of YouTube from... We were in Pasadena. And I remember our friend Brian, who was our videographer, was just raving about YouTube. He's like, you got to take YouTube serious. And I said, but Facebook's amazing. It's so easy to share. Like Facebook, we were all about Facebook. We did all of our push to our engagement video, like Facebook. We were just obsessed. Then Facebook Watch came out, and I was like, this is going to be the next YouTube. Mm-hmm. And it just never got there. And I always thought in YouTube, because I always heard that you get paid around $3 to $5 per every 1,000 views. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, you put out a video and get 1,000 views, you make $3? And I just kind of let it go.
Yeah.
And then I watched a video of a gentleman named Graham Stephan who talked about how he made $100,000 in 1 month on YouTube. This was back in May or June of 2019. I go, how? I was like, what is this? So we did research, and now we've become very educated. Mm-hmm. And this is how people make money. And I'm very excited to share it with you because we have just been ignoring this incredible platform. Mm-hmm. Now, we haven't the past 5 months. We've been really taking it seriously, and we're understanding it. We're continuing to learn. But here's the beautiful thing about YouTube is, number one, when you build to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of consumed content. So if you put out a podcast or videos and in total 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscribers, you qualify for Google AdSense to run ads before, during, or after your video. Mm-hmm. So if you ever see like that 5-second pre-roll ad on YouTube videos, little pop-ups, any sort of ad, you know that account's running Google AdSense. So that's the first way that you make money. And it is true. You make anywhere from $3 to $10 for every 1,000 views. But the thing I was missing is the accumulation of views. So I always thought it was just a one-off, but it's not. If someone comes here and watches this podcast and goes, I had a good time, and then YouTube recommends Freddie and Alyssa getting engaged, and they go, let me go watch that. Oh, wait, let me go watch this little clip. Let me watch this. One person has now watched 4 views. And then that person might become a fan, and they watch forever. You know how many clicks I have given to Joe Rogan and to some of my favorite people? I've watched so many videos, and so many people who are fans of ours and our audience have watched so many videos. Accumulatively, it adds up. Mm-hmm. So that is a way that you can make money through Google AdSense. So that's the first way. The second way, which we just learned about 4 months ago, once you get a big enough audience, you can have sponsors or you can do brand deals. And I think those are kind of the same in the sense that if you and I wanted to make a video of, we kind of did one with the ring video, with our engagement ring. We did it early where because we plugged them, we were able to negotiate a deal where we got a significant amount of money off the ring because we brought them hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views through Facebook and YouTube to their business. And they even had someone come in and say they saw it and they saw it from our video. So I was like, oh, it works. So we didn't get paid, but we got a discount on a very pricey item. Yeah. But if you ever see somebody do like, if we were going to partner with Cheetos and you and I do a 4-minute video where we're eating Cheetos, you can get paid for that. And they judge it off of how many views you have. So if you have 1,000 views, you get $25. If you have 100,000 views, they might pay you $2,500 or whatever you negotiate. How we have sponsors for our podcast.
Yep.
In most of our episodes, there are brands that we like, that we collaborate with, and you can make money through sponsorships. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So that's how you eventually build that. The other way is affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is when you have links in your description. Mm-hmm. And the most popular one, which is beautiful, is Amazon. Amazon has an affiliate program that is linked to you. What is ours?
Uh-oh.
Look that up while I'm chatting about it. We should put this in our description. We've actually slacked on this. And if you want to support our channel, this costs you nothing. And if you just want to hook us up during this time, what happens is if you go to amazon.com/ we'll figure out, we'll put it in the description. AlyssaTabit.
AlyssaTabit, but I will have to double check on my laptop. Let's just see.
Because you click our link and then you go buy anything on Amazon, because we referred you through our link, it costs you nothing. Nothing changes for you, but Amazon gives you a 4 to 7% kickback on whatever someone buys. So if you spent $1,000 on Amazon in this next year, then, $40 to $50 we would get for the year, just because you went through our link and nothing changes. So a lot of people use affiliate marketing to build their YouTube. So when we did the whole behind the scenes of our podcast studio, we linked all of our equipment through the Amazon link. So if anyone went and bought the microphone, the camera through our link and clicked it, it goes right to the microphone. They add to cart, they buy it. We get a 4 to 7% kickback on that. Not from the consumer, but from Amazon as a thank you referral. So I didn't know that a year ago. That's dope.
Yep.
The next thing is the Teespring partnership, which we were very excited about. We were going to launch, but then with everything happening, we're like, let's just wait on it. Mm-hmm. Once you hit 10,000 subscribers, you can now partner with a company called Teespring, and they do on-demand printing for T-shirts. And if you go to certain people's YouTubes, you'll see before the comment section that there's T-shirts. Mm-hmm. And YouTube partnered with Teespring, so it integrates right to your thing as soon as you hit 10,000 subscribers. So you and I have been working on designs. We want to do a Freddie and Alyssa show merch, but we don't have to put up the upfront money. We don't have to ship. We don't have to do customer service. They do all of that, and they just kick you the profits. Uh-huh. So that's a way to support your channel to make money, is through Teespring and selling merch. So we might do some T-shirts or sweatshirts, but we're being thoughtful, kind of
like a little hat,
or like a hat or something. And it also brings brand awareness. If you're a huge fan of the show and you're wearing a Freddie and Alyssa T-shirt and you're going to the grocery store or you're talking to friends, they might say, "Hey, what is that?"
Picture now in your selfie because we're all self-quarantined.
Yeah, then people are like, "Oh, this is the Freddie and Alyssa show." So it's cool. I'm wearing Nike right now. It's a brand awareness.
Yes.
And so that's another way. The fourth way, which I'm really excited about, and this is why we always ask you to subscribe. Because we're at 16,000 while making this video. Once we hit 30,000, we enable subscribers. Mm-hmm. YouTube enables a join button, which we're basically going to create a program, and we're going to call them producers, where it's a monthly fee, whether it's $5 or $10 a month, just like a Hulu or Netflix kind of thing, but for our thing. And you would get some exclusive content. But you would be help produce and be on the support the channel.
Yeah.
So once we hit 30,000, we'll be able to add that in, which is going to be really cool. And then the 100,000 mark, you don't get anything monetarily, but you get a cool plaque.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing is you get an account manager. So you actually, once you hit 100K as a creator, you get an account manager at YouTube, which I'm really excited because as you start building to those kind of numbers, there's some real money at stake and there's a real business grinding. And it's going to be nice to have someone you can call and talk to just in case there's any copyright violations, if there's anything weird that goes on. I want to be able to have someone there we have an account manager. Yeah. That's when it becomes a serious business. So our goal by the end of 2020 is to hit 100,000. Mm-hmm. We're hoping in the next 2 months to get it to 30,000 so we can have producers through the summer. Because I think there's a lot of people who'd want to support in that way.
Absolutely.
Some people hey, I'll buy a t-shirt. Some people I got $5 or $10 a month. Yeah, I'll add that to my, So we're going to be, so we have all those different streams. And then once I feel like we've been able to succeed in a way that's worth actually diving deep into all the things we've learned, specifically, you can also have a course. But I just don't feel we're successful enough yet I don't feel comfortable saying oh, you should pay to learn what we know, because we're not at a level that I feel is big enough yet for that. So maybe in a year, maybe sooner, people who want to know how to podcast and how to do all this. How do you write sponsors? How do you do, like how?
Yeah.
How do you do the thumbnails? How does this all work? We're going to do a course on that eventually. And it's all just linked right here under the YouTube umbrella. It's beautiful. And we knew nothing about this 9 months ago.
It's crazy.
And then we started learning about it. We're like, oh, this is how it works. So Kay, thank you for the question. It's my most favorite things. But yeah, for anyone who wants to start a podcast or a YouTube show, look into that because it just seems like this is where everything's going to be going.
Yeah, might as well do it now. You got the time.
Start it now,
home.
learn it because it does take time. Even you and I have adjusted, but we're continuing to learn. I look back on some of these videos we've done. I go, oh my God, we didn't even do the thumbnail right. We didn't do the description right.
But I love that because it just shows the growth. I love like going and looking back, whether it's, a podcast or an Instagram account and just seeing the growth people have had. Even when I look at my Instagram from when I first started, the kinds of pictures I put up then, and then me trying to find my aesthetic for a while. Like you could see I was trying to learn. I was trying to figure it out, but it still just wasn't that great. And then, I'll probably look back a couple of years from now and be like, oh, remember when I had that aesthetic? You're always going to grow and change.
This one's always been, you're at a premium level.
I like
That's
it
why
a
you've
lot.
been able to partner with so many brands because you've ironed out the details. And you can watch people go from not knowing what they're doing to the first stages where we'll look at people's accounts and I go, oh, they're getting better. They're trying. And then you see people who continue with it because it took 2 years before we ever were able to make anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you also have to have the patience, and the long-term vision is that when we started posting on Instagram and posting on Facebook and all this, it really took 2 years of no one really paying anything. A couple brand deals, couple deals, but to actually support a life, it took years.
And they always say too, if you're going to be in the influence, content creation, blogging, whatever genre that is, they explain that you have to be cool with doing it for free for years to build that brand before you even think about making money.
Yes.
Because you got to solidify who you are, what kind of content you're, releasing to the world, what you're all about, what your value is. And you got to really love it and enjoy it because it took us a long time.
Yeah.
To be able to start seeing some profits. So.
And honestly, you got to look in the future and go, if you were going to do some sort of blog or marketing or any sort of influencer type thing or YouTube channel, and you want $1,500 a month, yes, you want it this month and you want to start and do it, but you're going to want that in 3 years. You're going to want that in 5 years. There's a lot of things, if we would have been more patient and thought about 2020, we still have the same ambitions we had in 2013 as 2020. Yeah. And if you chip away, we're going to want the same thing in 2025. So don't look at this as like, I need to quit my job or I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, do it for fun. Learn who you are and what you want to put out there. Yes. It took us a minute to find. And even for myself, I never tapped into the Instagram influencing thing. No. It just isn't my brand. Like, could I find a product and market it? But it would be obtuse. Yeah. I just decided I just want to use that as my PR platform, my virtual business card, a way to keep up with my friends and fans and family. I do all my conversations through Instagram. It's become my hub, but it's to promote, but not to make money, where you've made an actual career out of it. Yeah. So you got to see where you fit in. And for me, for the very first time, blogging, I can write, but it's not my thing. Yeah. Taking pictures, like there's some people that are great, even as men. They they know how to do it in the sense of their brand. And for mine, it took until 2018 before, podcasting. Yeah. A long form, thoughtful conversation is exactly my favorite thing.
It's so up your alley.
It's so up my alley. And then we do some sort of vlogs every now and then. Yeah. Which if we vlogged now, I mean, it would just be you moving from the couch to the bed and then back to the kitchen and then out to walk the dog.
And then here.
So
me panicking when I leave the house every time or anytime we get a package. I'm like, babe, get the Lysol. That kind of stuff.
So you just got to find out what you want and how it fits, and you have to just be consistent. Yeah. And you also can't spend your money that you make right away. There's just so much. We can make a really good course in the future. Yeah. Because I don't want to make it on just like how to make a thumbnail. It's the mindset of the business, of what you do. Because we had an online business back in 2014, and we were spending that money like it was going to be there forever. and we didn't spend it. It should have all been saved and invested.
Yeah.
But you just don't. No one taught me that.
Because we were also very young,
So that's why it's like you can't just make your first 2,500 on YouTube and then go think, oh, I'm going to go and get a new car and that'll pay my lease every month. It's like, no, you need to just keep saving that and then reinvesting it in your business on ads. And so that'll be something that we do in the future. But my main goal that I think we've always been very aware of is with technology, with shipping being like global, with all like Teespring starting, like all these amazing, we've just always wanted a stream or two online so that we never had to be stuck in one location. And I think that was always there for us because our family was never here.
Yep. But that really, more so than ever, is exactly what we want to do. Because especially now with everything happening, being in LA, I mean, the whole industry is going to be shut down for a while.
Yeah. And it's just, I wouldn't mind, but like we talked about before, like I miss my family. And also, if you're going to just like wait things out, it's not wise to wait things out in New York City, San Francisco, or Los Angeles, where rents are 4 times probably the national average, where the reason for being here, you're not able to make up. Like you can't go, I could go book a commercial right now and go, oh, well, this pays my extraordinary rent for 5 months.
Right.
So you're just like burning cash.
Yeah.
So,
this next year is going to be very interesting.
The timing of all of this, like out of all these years, think about, even when I started Days, 2011, every single year you're on the chopping block.
Yeah.
How interesting that in 2020, when we have other things going, where I didn't want it to end, but we were prepared for it.
Sure.
And then 3 weeks later, everything shuts down.
I was going to ask you, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think they'll come back and do production and resume it, or?
Well, we got to see. I've hit up a few people. Once we get somebody on from the show, we'll ask whoever says yes first, and just see what they're doing. But I can only imagine, I don't know, because they're going to get. I mean, they're in the same position as any company. Yeah. They're renting. Are they going to keep paying rent to Burbank Studios? You know what the rent is per month there? They're just going to burn through. I mean, all the people I believe on, probably. I mean, what happened to does the cast? Are their contracts honored?
I don't know.
Is the crew just going on unemployment? Like, I don't know.
They're all just figuring it out, and I really think until we have some sort of vaccine, which they're saying won't be until early 2021, it's going to be really hard to go back to normal business. You know what I'm saying? Because it's highly contagious.
I don't know.
So
that's going to be really interesting, though, to see, like, is everyone going to go back in July?
Right.
And then, because they've been off, are they going to just suspend the hiatus weeks? And go, well, this was our 16 weeks of the yearly hiatus we were going to have. Now there's just no hiatus. You get the weekends off, and if you don't work Tuesday, Thursday, enjoy.
Interesting.
Like, what is that? Huh. So people have, as much as we're all frustrated, these bigger companies that we always go, they're millionaires, they're fine. But they're getting the paperwork, the people, the responsibility, the accountability, just in general. I mean, they've got to be getting, it's just got to be a nightmare.
Well, and even my sister was saying that the company she works for, she's in sales, and it's paper products and sanitary, but everything in New York is shut down. All of her clients, like restaurant-wise, they're all shut down, so she has no orders to be fulfilled. Now, however, they also rep hospitals, pharmacies, grocery stores, so it's still really busy. And
but probably smashed by 70%.
Yeah. But she was saying that they started laying off sales because, the people who have the restaurants, I mean, they're all
not going
to
buy that stuff now, yeah.
So it's all just really interesting, and that's just one little peek into one industry, He snored.
Yeah, he fell asleep. Are we boring you?
Gosh, Benji.
Jeez, Benj. I don't know. It's all very, very unique.
Time will tell. We're all in this together. We're all figuring it out every day. As the news comes, as we get to know what's going on, with this.
No.
You're going to have to cut that out.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about, though. Like, there's certain words, like if you've noticed at the very beginning of our podcast, we used to say like the F word, and we used to like swear a little more. Not really, but the algorithm will not the algorithm, the AI that that goes through and sifts through, I think, everything that's being said. If there's a lot of F-bombs, if there's a lot of like trigger words that they deem not advertiser friendly, and I think if you say the word that's going on, it's being picked up off the I probably edited out what you said. They're deeming it not suitable for advertisers. So the whole ad that runs before that you make money, they will cancel it out or limit it, so you get paid like pennies on the dollar if you're very,
Interesting.
But once you're big enough where you're getting 10,000 to 50,000 views, 100,000 views per podcast, you don't care about the AdSense because it's pennies compared to the sponsors. If the sponsor's paying you $2,500 an episode, you're like, I don't care about the 150 I'm losing from AdSense if I say the F word or say things. So a lot of these bigger people have zero care if they're demonetized by AdSense because they are making a ton. David Dobrik, I think they did a video on him.
He's a big YouTuber.
Big. He makes about $500,000 to $750,000 per video that advertisers pay him if an advertiser is featured in it.
Oh my!
Because he gets 5-10 million views. So you think 10 million views is The Bachelor? What are those companies paying to be the commercials on The Bachelor?
Wow.
Not 500,000. So they're getting a huge deal. But someone like David Dobrik's like, I'm playing around with my friends, driving in my SUV, going to the house, like doing pranks and making a 7-minute video, but I'm going to mention Cheetos and they're going to pay me $500,000 to do so. So you want to be your own television station, and it's more than ever. YouTube is on people's smart TVs.
Yeah.
I can click YouTube. I watch all of Rogan and all my people on TV.
Yeah.
I go to Hulu, I go to Netflix, I go to YouTube. What's the difference between YouTube and watching Rogan or going to Netflix and watching Love is Blind? There's no difference. So we are our own network.
Yep.
So we're gonna be looking for those advertisers. So it's really interesting how, and we just have to, but a lot of advertisers have stopped. So we're probably gonna take a pause on advertisers for like a month.
Yeah.
But we have that big deal coming in June. Yeah. So if everything continues on, that's gonna be really great for us.
Yep.
And we'll make it more clear. Like for all of you out there too, we wanted to obviously build this for a while to really prove to you too that we're serious. Like, look how fun, like we wanted to prove to you that we have a show.
Yeah.
Before we were ever to like put up some merch or when the join button becomes like, we want it to be something that you're like, oh wow, I've enjoyed this for so long. Maybe I will put in $5-10 a month and just help them, because us being able to build this is going to be able to, we're going to be able to take that money and spend it on advertising so that people will find out about the Freddie and Alyssa show, which grows it. And the bigger it is, the bigger the sponsors, the bigger the numbers, the more money, the bigger the guests.
Yep.
So when we're reaching out to people right now, they're looking at the 2,000 to 5,000 views. When they can see 100,000, you're going to get anybody. You hit up anyone's PR, they're going to have them on.
And if these bigger people actually have heard of our show, it's going to be a lot easier, because we've been reaching out to people, but even getting them to read it, it's just hard.
But that's the game.
Of course it is.
We're used to that.
Yeah.
So we set ourselves daily minimums now, and we're just reaching out just constantly and really going for the home run. And and certain friends, we're very, I want to respect their time, and I always, you know what I mean? Like I don't always want to ask people. I hate asking people for favors. So that's why even some of the people we know, like they've done us a solid.
Yeah.
They've been kind enough to come on, but I'm always hesitant because I'm like reaching out to strangers. You're not asking a favor of a friend, and you also don't care about the outcome, because you're just like yeah, because if some friends, they're just like, oh, like they read it and didn't get back to you. You're just like,
yeah,
like really? Known you for 8 years? What? But I also understand that too, because there's so many people who want, I get hit up for so many things, and I feel so blessed that I'm, on the market, if you will. In demand. That's what I was looking for. That I'm in demand, that there's people who want me to do interviews, there's people who want, I wish I could do all the events. I wish I could do all the interviews, but you also, you have to, it's a weird thing when no one ever hits you up when you're younger. You start building a career, you start building some influence, you become a little bit in demand. I can't imagine what these celebrities like real celebrities are
and
like. They probably get
crazy
hit up
all
1,000
the
times a
time.
day.
And I remember when we first started our podcast in the very beginning, I had an old friend who had booked a huge show. I mean, overnight. It was like that. And I reached out to her to see if she'd come on, and she read the message. She never responded, but the next night she was on like Jimmy Fallon, and I was like, "Oh, I get it. Like she's on Jimmy Fallon. Like everyone's hitting her up, and she was just doing this big press push for everything."
Because people are also aware of the unbalanced value exchange.
Yeah.
Like, even if I was going to be polite and there was somebody who's never done a podcast, they get inspired, they start a YouTube channel, they go, Freddie, you inspired me. Would you be on my very first podcast? I have nothing to look at to see who are you?
Sure.
What is this? And it's a favor, and it's out of the kindness of your heart to go on someone's podcast who has 7 views, because you know the disproportionate value that I'd be bringing as a favor to that person. And you can't do that with everyone. But they're the same way. Where everyone's just
Jimmy
like,
Fallon the next
yeah,
night, you know?
like they're like,
I
look,
understand,
like
I get it.
this is going to help your podcast if I come on tremendously.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything for me. It's me doing you a solid.
Yeah.
And how many favors can I give?
Right.
So I never get mad at people.
No.
I understand it because I'm on both ends. I'm the one that has to say no to some people, and people say no to us.
Yep.
And it's just the going around. But then I keep hearing all these great podcasters that I admire, and they're just saying too. They're like, just do it. Just sit up. Like, don't feel like you need to have guests all the time. And you and I took that to heart too, because we're like, and we even heard from our audience. A lot of people are just like, hey, we like you two.
Yeah.
Like, we love the guests.
Yeah.
But I don't think people like the guests. I actually think people like us solo.
Unless we have a real big guest.
Yeah, or like people from Days do really well, because I know we have a lot of Days fans, so they love to hear from,
Of course.
their
favorite stars.
from the So we're cognizant of all of that as well. So we're navigating it and
working it out.
And we're working it out right here live on the podcast. I don't,
Yeah.
Um,
And lastly, I know we're gonna wrap.
Yeah.
But I have to thank you, my love, for helping me soak my gel nails off. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Freddie Smith. I mean, what was that experience like for you?
It was great. I like doing things like that. I'm still going to do the makeup this week. I'm going to have to figure out, I think I'm letting my hair grow out.
Oh, are you?
I haven't had it for a while, so I'm not going to worry about like doing anything fancy with my hair.
Okay.
And your hair is great, so we'll be fine there. But we're going to have to, because you mentioned people are going to have to start learning to do things on their own.
Yeah.
Like the nails now we can do. We're going to order grooming equipment, because yet again, even if we're back to normal mid-May or June 1st, you're going to go hand him off to somebody who just now.
I mean, we're going to have to learn.
Were they the 90% that stayed home, the groomer, or were they out with friends?
I don't know. And like even too, eventually, I guarantee you, I will text my hair lady and say, hey, what base color do you use on me? Because I think doing highlights is, I mean, I'm sure you could figure it out eventually, but putting a base on just so that you don't have roots, like we do a show, I'm going to want to do that. And
no one cares.
No one cares. I care.
But you can't tell the difference.
But also too, I feel like for me, when I'm dressed or my hair's done or I have a little makeup on, you feel better. You're in a better mood. It's just that whole self-care thing. So it's so funny though. I know I keep talking about my lashes, but I keep seeing they're just coming out. And once they're completely out, it'll be good because you just put mascara on and it's no big deal. But it's that like awkward phase.
Yeah, let it grow out.
Let it grow out, baby.
So we'll be good. But I think people will have to have when you get your hair done professionally again, people will just wear. I think both the client and the
we'll have to wear masks.
Service provider will do the masks.
You might have to give me a haircut one of these months.
They're getting the service industry is what's getting smashed right now.
I mean, everything.
Anyone who's on like retail or like does any sort of service, massage, hair, eyebrows, nail, like just getting destroyed because you need to be in person. Yeah. They can't work from home.
So crazy.
So my heart goes out to everybody. Thanks again for all the healthcare professionals out there who are, we're all sitting around complaining about being bored, and you're in just like high stress situations. So thank you.
Today is, I believe, or when we're shooting it, National Doctor Day. So what's up to all of our doctors? We love you, all the nurses, everyone in that entire industry. Thank you.
Yeah. So we appreciate you very much. And And did I mention to subscribe? I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, to subscribe to the channel.
I mean,
maybe text it to a friend. Say, hey, subscribe to this. Check this out. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd be into that. I'd totally do that.
If all 16,000 subscribers just sent this to one person, say, hey, just subscribe if you like it.
Hey.
Then we're going to open up the whole 30K thing, and then we'll be able to do with the producers, and we're going to do like
our VIP board of producers.
Yeah, because for the producers, I think they have a members only thing. We have to do all this research once it becomes available. But I think we'll be able to do like a live through YouTube for just the members, because I don't want to put anything like this anywhere behind members only. Because I don't want to do that to the audience at all. I know some people do that and they've built great careers, but I want this to always be just free and available for people. But we have to do something special for people who do want to put in $5-10 a month and be a producer and help us with advertising and do something special as like a thank you every month. That, you know,
love that.
Because we owe everything to all of you that are taking the time to watch this, and you know, and not Tiger King, but Tiger King you should watch because it's amazing.
It is amazing. It's such a mess.
But anything else before we go real quick on what to watch? What did we watch in the last couple of days? We haven't.
A couple movies came out, though.
Well, now we're going to watch Bad Boys for Life and The Gentleman. We'll let you know in the next podcast how those are. I don't know what the hell we watched yesterday.
I made you watch Wheel of Fortune the other night.
Yeah,
I could watch that for hours.
That was so good. We've been doing American Idol and stuff. But yeah, we'll keep you up to date. But thank you for spending all this time with us. We appreciate you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you next time.